All right, hello and welcome to the postgrad year. Today we're going to be talking about the Commonplace book, or more specifically, my Commonplace binder. But actually, today we're going to be focusing on data, so not my binder specifically. Specifically the data on Commonplace book videos on YouTube. So I looked at 470 thumbnails, to figure out what I was doing wrong and how to improve it. And it turns out I should be making Commonplace binder videos rather than Commonplace book binder videos. So that's a thing. But we're going to review the data anyways, so that other people can figure out what sort of changes they might need to make to their own content. Or if you're getting into the space and you're going to be making videos yourself, maybe this will help you figure out what to do or what not to do. So we're looking at Commonplace book, how to. Except it's actually 2 pages. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to read through the pages and that'll be the video. So we have some stuff written down on paper that I wrote down on the computer and then I transferred over. So 27 items in here, I have 28 because of this. Deleted the last thumbnail as it's in spot 390 and talked about how to make a cover. So 390 is 390 of 470, and I think from now on I'll start referencing the number so that way we can know which one is being eliminated, and if something like number 100 is eliminated, oh crap, that category has some really high profile content. But if the number is like 470, then it's probably not good. So I think the reason as to why number 390 was removed, I think the reason 390 was removed is because it talked about how to make a cover. And no one really cares about the cover unless it's a pretty part of the thumbnail. And not to hate on it, but it wasn't especially pretty as far as the notes say. Not saying it's ugly, just it wasn't beautiful. And there wasn't any suspense or need to click because, well, people already saw the final result. So like, why would they click if they already saw the final result and it wasn't that impressive? If it was really impressive, then yeah, sure. But if it, looked kind of medium or less than medium, there's not really any incentive to click on it. But now we're finally to the material. Sorry about that. I just realized I was wearing the sweatshirt because I had to, deal with some stuff in the house. I'll just say that. So what we're going to be looking at now is information that will make it it should make it very easy to make shorts in the future. Because I can just read through journal, notebook, starting your own, and like all the other things listed here. Which I guess I could say now if I want to spoil everything for you, but I don't. So we're going to go through them one at a time. But what I'm trying to say is the short of this video will probably just go through them one at a time, and it'll be really easy for me to make and really informative at the same time, if you just want the really quick version. But in terms of the categories I made, so the tags or chapters of the folders I toss everything in. We have journal with 8 items. So that means out of the 27 items, 8 of them belong to the journal category. So what that means is, as I was looking through all the different thumbnails, the first one listed was journal. And so then I would keep looking through every thumbnail. If it mentioned journal, or if it looked like a journal, or if it said journal, I toss it in the journal category. And so 8 of the 27 items on how to Commonplace. Specifically that, because remember I split this into like 50 different categories. So in this very niche section of this niche, there were 8 items. So the first one listed was number 17, which is pretty high on the list. Out of 470, 17 is pretty good. So that was the best thumbnail. And it had a wood desk, or I guess a wooden desk, with 3 open books on it in an upside down triangle. Now, I'm not really sure what that means, but that's just what I wrote down as I was looking at it. And that's a lot how, well, that's how a lot of these work. It's not necessarily that I needed to write down that specific thing. It's just more of a first impressions. So first was journal, second was notebook, and there were only 2 items. So I guess it wasn't that common. The first one was number 19 though. So 17 to 19. That's pretty good. So the best thumbnail was 19, and it was an open notebook with an edited circle that says the title on the middle. So that's a very specific thing. I don't think that happened very often. But what I was doing at the very beginning is I was writing down the best thumbnail, whereas later on I write down trends, and then much further on I write down trends related to other trends. So number 3 is starting your own, which had 6 items. The first one was number 21, so still pretty close to the bottom, which is great. Well, or I guess the top. And the best thumbnail was one shiny red and gold book in the middle of the screen with a label on the left, and both sides have a white arrow pointed towards it. So I think that one was really good as a thumbnail. I think I actually ended up watching the video, but I think that was really good as a thumbnail because it was different, and people love red and gold. All right, now we're on the second page. We're going to be looking at 4 through 7. So remember, this is Commonplace book, how to, and the data. So number 4 is keep. We have 3 items listed here. The first one was number 23, which is still respectable. The best thumbnail was an old map covering a desk plus empty notebook on top, plus pencil and compass on top, plus words and icon that take up upper left, third diagonally commonplace book icon. Yeah, that's a lot happening. But it worked. So I'm not sure if that was because it was a big channel, or if all the things were interesting, or if it was more like add a bunch of clutter and then just do good. I don't know. I have no idea, because remember, I collected the thumbnail data in November. I wrote stuff down in December, and now I'm talking about it in January. So, didn't just happen. It was kind of a while ago. But yeah, so I guess that was number 4, keep. Now number 5 is create. So for number 5, it's 3 items. The first was number 26, still pretty good. Best thumbnail was showing a person up close physically leaning on their system. Now, I think I know exactly which one that is, because that was very distinctive. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's more like Zettelkelsen or whatever. It's a German system. Basically, you put a bunch of stuff in boxes rather than in binders or books or whatever. And so one of the benefits to a box is, you can just move the boxes wherever. But I have tried that in the past. I don't really like boxes because it's like a binder but worse. Like there's no way to know where anything is. You gotta get a box. Transportation wise, I guess if you're moving, it'd be easier than binders. But other than that, I don't know why you do it, because I think it's more expensive. I think it takes more time, and I think it's just worse. So if you like it, good for you. I just don't know why I would ever do that. Unless every page is so unique that it doesn't actually fit into a binder. Or if hole punching it somehow ruins it, which would make sense if it was like artwork or some sort of like medical report or something. But now we're on number 6, which is study. So for study, there was only 1 item. The first was 108. Yeah, I'm not sure if you noticed that. I was like, 17, 23. Last one was 26. And this one is 108. So part of that is because there's only one item for it, and when there's one item and I'm near the bottom of the list, it's normally a lot higher. So 108 for the last one in a category is actually quite high. There are some where, you know, it'll be like 270, 349, and it goes like all the way up. So, 108 is still good. So I guess Commonplace book How to Study makes sense. But that sounds good, doesn't it? Like Commonplace book How to Study. I don't know if that's the actual title or if study as a word was in the title, description, thumbnail, or wherever else, but it was somewhere visible. And I think that's a good title, which is probably why it did well. So the best thumbnail was a turtleneck guy in the only thumbnail. So wear a turtleneck, I guess. I'm not really sure how a t-shirt does, but I'm trying to keep it consistent, and that's a pretty easy way to make it happen. So time for category number 7. Now for category number 7, I'm actually going to show this to you. It says other. Why does it say other? Well, I put 3 items in there, and the reason why I have other as a category is because sometimes you see crap at the bottom, which is just bad. Or it doesn't really relate to anything, or you kind of just had to put it somewhere, and you also kind of want to delete it because you don't really want to deal with it. That's what I do with the other category. So from this point on until pretty much the end of the binder, if there are fewer than 3 items remaining, well, fewer than 4 items remaining, duh, I grab those items and I group them in the other category. And I don't write anything about them because, if they're like 40 things in a category and we get down to the last 3, they're probably not going to be helpful. They might be, but they're probably going to be pretty useless. So the first one was for 135, which is still quite good. But what's not quite good is the fact that my computer turned off. So I gotta go fix that. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope you have some opinions on this, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright, bye.